Here's something your doctor may not have explained clearly. Your kidneys change as you age, and not in a minor way. The kidneys filter your entire blood supply, roughly 40 times a day. They remove toxins, regulate your blood pressure, help produce red blood cells, and keep your bones strong by activating vitamin D. They are, quite literally, the filtration system keeping everything else running. But here's what changes after 60. The glomerular filtration rate, the measurement of how efficiently your kidneys are actually cleaning your blood, declines naturally with age. Research indicates that kidney filtration capacity decreases at a rate of approximately 1% per year after the age of 40. What that means practically is that by the time you reach 65 or 70, your kidneys may already be operating at significantly reduced capacity compared to your younger years. Not because something is wrong, but simply because that's what aging does. And that reduced reserve means the threats we're about to discuss hit harder and recover more slowly. On top of this, two conditions become dramatically more common after 60: high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. These are not minor inconveniences. They are globally the number 1 and number 2 causes of kidney failure. That is the backdrop. Now let's talk about what's making things worse and what you can do about it. Poison number 4 may surprise you, because it's not something you eat or drink. It's something you don't do. I'm talking about a sedentary lifestyle, long hours sitting, little movement throughout the day. You might be wondering, what does sitting have to do with my kidneys? The answer is everything. Your kidneys are entirely dependent on strong, consistent blood flow to do their job. Think of it this way. A fast-moving river stays clean. The water is oxygenated, carries debris away, and doesn't stagnate. Now picture a still pond. Algae grows, sediment settles. The water becomes murky and toxic. Your circulatory system is that river. When you move, when you walk, your heart pumps more vigorously and blood flows with force to the millions of tiny filtration units inside your kidneys, giving them the pressure they need to clean your blood effectively. When you sit for extended periods, circulation slows, and this slowdown becomes a gateway to the kidney's two biggest enemies: high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. Research published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that prolonged sedentary time is independently associated with a higher risk of chronic kidney disease, even after accounting for how much exercise a person gets. The mechanism isn't complicated. Physical inactivity reduces your body's ability to regulate blood sugar. Cells become less responsive to insulin. Over time, this insulin resistance is exactly how type 2 diabetes develops. And inactivity also supports weight gain. And every additional unit of body weight increases the pressure your cardiovascular system operates under, pushing blood pressure higher, which then strains the delicate filtration vessels of the kidneys. So what's the practical solution? You do not need to become an athlete. The goal is simply to break the cycle of stillness. Step 1. Set an alarm every 60 minutes and stand up. Walk to the kitchen, stretch your arms, walk down the hallway and back. That simple act reactivates your circulation. Step 2. Build a daily walk. Start at 10 minutes. Add 5 minutes each week until you reach 30. Consistency matters far more than intensity. Walking is one of the most kidney-friendly activities that exists. It improves heart function, regulates blood sugar, and keeps blood flowing through those filtration vessels. Step 3. If mobility is a challenge, seated movement still counts. Ankle rotations, lifting your legs, reaching your arms overhead, these all improve circulation. Any movement is better than none. Think of every step you take as a wave of clean water running through your kidneys. You're keeping the river flowing. Poison number 3 is hiding in plain sight in almost every household's medicine cabinet. It's the pill you reach for without much thought when you have a headache, a sore back, or joint pain. I'm talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. Names like ibuprofen, naproxen, and diclofenac. These medications are effective for pain, but there is a widespread and dangerous misunderstanding about them. Because they're available without a prescription, many people assume they're safe to take regularly. That assumption can cost you your kidney function. Here's why. Your kidneys rely on compounds called prostaglandins to keep the small arteries feeding them properly open, dilated, flowing, and delivering oxygen-rich blood. NSAIDs work by blocking prostaglandins throughout the body to relieve pain, but they can't distinguish between the prostaglandins in your inflamed shoulder and the ones protecting blood flow in your kidneys. They block both. The result is that renal arteries constrict, blood flow drops, the kidneys receive less oxygen. Over time, the filtering structures sustain damage and scar tissue accumulates. Research published in the American Journal of Nephrology found that regular NSAID use is associated with both acute kidney injury and the progression of chronic kidney disease, particularly in older adults and those with pre-existing risk factors. And here's the part that's especially concerning for adults over 60. As kidney function naturally declines with age, the threshold for NSAID-related harm drops significantly. A dose that a 35-year-old handles without issue may cause measurable damage in someone whose kidneys are already working at reduced capacity. So what do? Just endure the pain? Absolutely not. Here's how to be smart about this. First, never use NSAIDs as a daily solution for chronic pain without medical supervision. Chronic pain needs a diagnosis and a plan, not a daily pill that silences the signal while the underlying problem and the kidney damage continue. Second, be fully transparent with your doctor about everything you take. Many cold medications, sleep aids, and multi-symptom formulas contain NSAIDs without making it obvious on the front of the package. Turn the package over. Read the active ingredients. Third, explore alternatives. Acetaminophen, also known as paracetamol, is generally considered safer for the kidneys when used correctly. Physical therapy, heat and cold application, and gentle stretching can provide meaningful pain relief for many conditions. These are conversations worth having with your healthcare provider. The rule is simple. NSAIDs are valuable medications for occasional use. Chronic unsupervised daily use is a significant and under-recognized kidney risk, especially after 60. Poison number 2 may be the most underestimated item on this list because most people think they're managing it when they're not. I hear this constantly, but I barely use the salt shaker. And I understand why people feel that way. But the salt shaker is responsible for a small minority of the sodium most people consume. Research consistently shows that more than 70 to 75% of the sodium in the typical Western diet comes not from salt you add at the table, but from sodium embedded in processed and packaged foods during manufacturing. It's in bread, deli meat, canned soups, pasta sauces, frozen meals, cheese, breakfast cereals, even some cookies and condiments that don't taste particularly salty at all. The food industry uses sodium both as a preservative and as a flavor enhancer, and the quantities are often staggering. Why does this matter so much for your kidneys? Your body maintains a very precise sodium-to-water balance. When you consume excess sodium, the body responds by retaining fluid to dilute it. Blood volume increases. The heart must pump harder. Pressure builds inside your arteries and inside the delicate filtration vessels of your kidneys. This is hypertension, high blood pressure, and it is the second leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. Think of your kidney's filtration network as an extremely delicate membrane. Chronic high blood pressure is like running high-pressure water through that membrane every single day. Over years, the structure weakens, scars, and eventually fails. It is slow, it is silent, and it is preventable. So how do you protect yourself? Strategy 1. Become a label reader. Turn every packaged product over and look for sodium in the nutrition facts panel. The current recommendation is no more than 2,300 milligrams per day for most adults. If you already have elevated blood pressure, your doctor may suggest closer to 1,500. You'll be surprised, sometimes shocked, by what you find in foods that don't taste salty at all. Strategy 2. Cook at home as often as you can. When you prepare your own meals, you control what goes in. You can season with a fraction of the sodium found in restaurant or packaged equivalents. Strategy 3. Rediscover the power of herbs and spices. Garlic, rosemary, oregano, turmeric, cumin, black pepper, paprika. These are extraordinary tools. Fresh lemon juice and vinegar add enormous brightness and complexity to food with zero sodium. Within a few weeks of reducing sodium, your palate adjusts and food doesn't taste bland. It tastes like what it actually is. Strategy 4. If you use canned vegetables, rinse them thoroughly under running water before cooking. This simple step removes a meaningful portion of the added sodium. Protecting your kidneys from sodium isn't about eating food with no flavor. It's about eating intelligently and knowing where the real threat actually comes from. And now, we reach what I consider the most dangerous item on this list, not because it's the most toxic in a single dose, but because of the sheer scale of the damage it causes, the way it attacks from multiple directions simultaneously, and the fact that it is the single greatest driver of the number one cause of kidney failure in the world. I'm talking about sugar, and its close accomplice, refined flour. Yes, the white powder in your sugar bowl, the dessert after dinner, the soft drink with lunch, and also the white bread, the white pasta, the cookies, the crackers. Because refined flour behaves in your body almost identically to table sugar. It converts to glucose rapidly and in large amounts. This is not about demonizing a single food. It's about understanding what happens when these substances are consumed in the quantities that are now typical in the modern diet, and what that does to your kidneys over years. Let me walk you through the 4 ways this attacks your kidneys. Attack front 1, the direct highway to diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is the number one cause of kidney failure globally, and the primary dietary driver of type 2 diabetes is chronic excessive consumption of rapidly absorbed carbohydrates, sugars, and refined flour. When you eat these foods, blood glucose rises sharply. The pancreas responds by releasing insulin to manage that glucose. If this pattern repeats day after day, the cells throughout the body begin to lose their sensitivity to insulin. They stop responding normally. Blood glucose remains chronically elevated. That is type 2 diabetes. Once type 2 diabetes is established, the kidneys face a severe, ongoing assault. Chronically elevated blood glucose damages the kidney's filtration structures through a process called glycation. Essentially, sugar molecules attach to proteins in the kidney filters and make them stiff, rigid, and dysfunctional. This is called diabetic nephropathy, and it is the fastest traveled path to dialysis. Attack front 2, blood pressure. For many years, sodium was considered the primary dietary driver of hypertension. The science has evolved. Research now indicates that excess sugar, particularly fructose, which is a component of table sugar and is found in high concentration in high fructose corn syrup, also raises blood pressure through mechanisms that are completely independent of sodium. So even if you are managing your sodium intake carefully, excess sugar continues to press on that same blood pressure mechanism, continuing the vascular damage to your kidneys. Attack front 3, chronic inflammation. A diet high in sugar and refined carbohydrates promotes a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. This is not the acute inflammation of an injury that resolves in days. It is a slow, persistent inflammatory signal that damages the lining of blood vessels, including the microvessels inside your kidney filters. For kidneys that are already working under reduced capacity after 60, this inflammatory environment accelerates structural damage. Attack front 4. Obesity and metabolic strain. Excess sugar that the body doesn't immediately use for energy is converted to fat, particularly in and around the liver. This contributes to fatty liver disease, which disrupts whole body metabolism and worsens insulin resistance. It also drives weight gain and obesity, which creates additional pressure on the kidneys from multiple directions. As you can see, it is a total attack. That is why I call it the number one poison. Now here is the good news. This attack is not inevitable. You have genuine control over how much sugar and refined flour you consume, and the changes don't have to be dramatic to be effective. Step 1. Understand sugar's many names. On ingredient labels, sugar hides as high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, sucrose, maltose, corn syrup solids, and many others. When you see these in the first 3 or 4 ingredients on a label, put the product down. Step 2. Eliminate liquid sugar. Sugary drinks, sodas, commercial fruit juices, sweetened iced teas, energy drinks, flavored coffees are the single most concentrated and damaging source of refined sugar in the typical diet. A single 12-ounce soda can contain the equivalent of 10 or more teaspoons of sugar, absorbed rapidly with nothing to slow it down. Replace these with water, plain sparkling water with lemon or lime, or unsweetened herbal teas. This one change alone can have a profound impact. Step 3. Be skeptical of low-fat products. When manufacturers remove fat, food loses flavor. The standard industry solution is to replace that flavor with added sugar. Low-fat yogurt, low-fat salad dressings, and reduced-fat snacks often contain more sugar than their full-fat counterparts. Read the labels. Better yet, choose plain whole versions and add flavor yourself. Step 4. Swap refined grains for whole grains. Whole grain bread, brown rice, rolled oats, and quinoa all contain fiber that fundamentally slows the absorption of glucose. Your blood sugar response is far gentler, and the burden on your pancreas and kidneys is reduced. Step 5. Build your diet around whole, real foods. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, eggs, fish, and lean meats contain no refined sugar and provide the fiber, protein, and healthy fats your body needs. When whole foods form the base of your eating pattern, sugar and refined flour naturally become a much smaller part of the picture, without requiring rigid rules or deprivation. This is not about perfection, it's about awareness. And awareness, as we've seen today, is the most powerful tool you have. Before we close, 3 additional warnings that every adult over 60 should hear. Warning 1. Don't overlook sleep. Research links chronic poor sleep with accelerated kidney function decline. People who sleep fewer than 6 hours per night have been shown to experience a faster rate of decline in kidney filtration over time. Sleep is when your body repairs micro-damage throughout your tissues, including your kidneys. If you're struggling with sleep quality, that conversation with your doctor is overdue. Warning 2. Don't let yourself become chronically dehydrated. Older adults are significantly more susceptible to dehydration than younger people, and the sense of thirst becomes less reliable with age. Mild chronic dehydration forces the kidneys to concentrate urine, increasing the burden on the filters and raising the risk of kidney stones. Aim for pale yellow urine as a daily indicator that you're reasonably well hydrated. Water is your kidney's most important ally. Warning 3. Be cautious with herbal supplements. There is a widespread assumption that because something is natural, it's automatically safe for the kidneys. This is not always true. Certain herbal supplements have documented associations with kidney toxicity. Always tell your doctor about every supplement you take, not just your prescription medications. If this video gave you something useful, a new perspective, a specific change you want to make, or a question you now want to ask your doctor, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Tell me which of these 4 kidney threats surprised you the most. I read every comment, and your questions shape what I cover next. And if you know someone over 60 who might benefit from this, please share this video with them. That's how this information reaches the people who need it most. Let's close with a quick recap. Poison number 4, sedentary lifestyle. Sitting for long periods slows circulation and opens the door to diabetes and high blood pressure. Break sitting every hour. Walk daily. Poison number 3, NSAIDs and pain pills. Regular, unsupervised use of ibuprofen and similar medications can restrict kidney blood flow and cause cumulative damage. Talk to your doctor about pain management. Poison number 2, hidden sodium. More than 70% of your sodium likely comes from packaged food, not your salt shaker. Read labels. Cook at home. Use herbs and spices. Poison number 1, sugar and refined flour. These drive diabetes, raise blood pressure, promote inflammation, and are the primary dietary path to kidney failure. Eliminate sugary drinks. Choose whole foods. Swap refined grains for whole grains. None of these require perfection. Each one is within your control. And every small, consistent change you make is a genuine act of protection for 2 organs that ask very little of you and give everything in return. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, medication, exercise, or lifestyle. Sonnet 4.6.